sure. Look,
B2A.
it's a very, very interesting situation the way it all played out yesterday. I mean, it literally went from 0 to 100 at about, 1 p.m., 2 p.m. yesterday?
Yeah.
Just like that. Just blew up. The plane, the airport pictures and videos, to the flight logs, to are they touring schools? Are they Are they letting schools bid for knots?
Is Lane here? Is it not Lane?
Is Lane here? Is he not? Just whoa.
And then Ole Miss sent an ultimatum.
And that was the part I wanted to talk about first. Because there can be a lot made of this. And who really has the answer in this situation? I don't even know if Lane has the answer yet. All I know is that when your agent is Jimmy Sexton, none of what happened yesterday is an accident. Things don't just slip out and, oh no, you now know that Lane Kiffin's family is on a flight and landed in Baton Rouge and is touring the city. That doesn't just happen on accident. Those things get out on purpose. And so everything that happens, especially with Lane, because look, Lane has grown a lot, I think. I think if you watched the little documentary thing they did on him before the LSU game, you've seen his maturation from the guy that abandoned Tennessee, and got fired on a tarmac by USC to the coach he is at Ole Miss right now. He's obviously matured and grown over the years. But he's still the most, the coach that does the most unexpected things. He always will keep you on your feet, keep you on your toes. You'll never really, and so I say that to say, don't lean too much one way or the other because you don't really know. I think LSU's in a good spot, and I think the main reason why I think that is the ultimatum that Ole Miss laid out. I tried to wrap my head around and say, okay, I get why they did that. I understand the card that they're playing, but I don't. Do you understand Ole Miss's thought process to make that decision?
No. I mean, I understand there's only really one answer, right? They are not used to this.
Right.
And they're tired of being skull dragged. They quit jerking me around, right. So they threw a fit. And it's what's the one thing that we can do to make sure we're still in the conversation? Because it feels like we're not.
Ultimatum.
Look, we've had an offer on the table for how long?
3 weeks. Yeah, like a minute.
So now it becomes and then they're obsessed with the Egg Bowl. Right. It's Ole Miss and Mississippi State, doesn't matter. It's a fun game to watch. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I love watching the Egg Bowl.
But they have so many that y'all need to shift your mindset. Because you're looking at a college football playoff, not the Egg Bowl. But now it's the Egg Bowl.
Right.
And it's called the Egg Bowl. And so now it's wait, this is what's the most important thing. What can we do to make sure that the fan base knows that we care that Lane Kiffin is either here or he isn't? Because they do want to name if it's not Lane, now they're in the search with everybody else but the one name that they can't get. Right? Because this is the Lane Kiffin sweepstakes between LSU, Florida, Ole Miss, and now Ole Miss just kind of took themselves out the running because they want to be able to get Summerall from Tulane. They love him.
Yeah.
And so now they're we can't miss out on him going to Auburn.
Right.
Or any other, if LSU, what if he goes to Florida?
Yeah.
And now we're sitting here with our dick in our hand.
Yeah.
So now they have to, we need an ultimatum to be able, if it's not Lane, then who is it? And then we have to be able to put a deal in place.
Because that's the situation. That was my first reaction, the same one you had, where they've never been here before. Right. They don't know how this goes. And so that
you know how many tickers I've read that LSU has hired a head coach?
And Brian Burns.
And Sexton's over here just Coach Coydle, he gets off on this.
That's why I'm saying don't put too much stock in anything because this is fun. This is the business.
The one thing you do have for the first time in an LSU coaching search is it feels like Nick Saban on your side.
Yes,
it's always been Nick Saban kind of pulling the strings with Jimmy Sexton of don't let him go there. Don't let anybody go to LSU.
Right.
It was always blocked. Right. And you see Lane Kiffin
if the right
go
guy
from
goes there. It's
my job. Now it doesn't matter.
Right.
And he and Lane are boys. He and Sexton are boys.
Yeah.
He still has an affinity for LSU, where he has talked to LSU. Correct.
Yes.
This makes sense that he would try to steer Lane to LSU.
100%. Brian Burgess, what would you guys think if he was doing this to LSU? No. If I'm an Ole Miss fan, I'm pissed off. Like, this is very annoying.
Well, it makes you feel like what everybody has said about you is true.
Right, and the fact that you've seen Elko sign an extension and Signetti sign an extension, it's like, well, Lane, you love us, right? Like we
love you.
You want to be with us, right? So it would suck if you're an Ole Miss fan, right? If this was happening to LSU, it would suck. But what I wouldn't want LSU to do is tell the guy, look, we appreciate everything you've done. We want you back here so bad, we're making you make a choice right now. Like, put the pressure on it, right? It's like when Nick Saban was flirting with the Miami Dolphins job, right? LSU sat there and goes, actually, Nick, we're tired of all this mess. You make the decision by tomorrow, or you're just not going to coach for us.
Yeah. When you want to curry,
so if I don't make the decision now, I just need to leave. Like, you're forcing his hand.
Right, and it was already leaning one way.
Right.
It's the I guess it's if you're in a relationship that's not going great, like, we should do have a kid.
That'll fix this.
That'll fix it. Yeah, we need to get some responsibility around here.
Right, and so that's why, like, to me, like, it looks like Ole Miss forcing Lane Kiffin's
marry
hand.
Me.
Yeah, and it's almost like, whoa, like, whoa, what do you?
Well, I don't know about a kid. I think a ring, though.
Yeah,
I thought we were in a tough spot. Like, I thought we were kind of on the outs.
Look, it's not that. Yeah, we're having fun. Let's not take this thing too seriously. And it's like, well, I'm in love with you. And it's like, well, I want to.
Well, actually, there's this one over here in Baton Rouge, and there's this one in Gainesville.
Got a lot of history. I've done this 5 times before.
Right.
Which is crazy that he hasn't lived a full life of coaching.
See, Lloyd, easy now. I did that actually.
How'd it work out? But you go from a 31-year-old,
right,
as the head coach of the then Oakland Raiders, to USC to Tennessee, to USC, right, to FAU to Alabama, not a head coach.
Then FAU.
Then to FAU, then Ole Miss. He's been a head coach 5 times, and now he's looking at 6 in 6 different places.
Right.
First ultimatum, though.
First ultimatum.
And he's been left on 3 tarmacs. Because they get so upfront. Like, I thought it was going to be with me.
Right.
And Tennessee even wants to get back into this thing. Of course.
And they have a coach.
Yeah. Sometimes not.
So, look, it's... Let's see, Dub. Have a great child, but no wife.
Yeah, buddy.
And so, look, I this whole situation, like I said... This is JimmySexton.com. Like, this, all that happened yesterday was not an accident, right? And you saw the pressure that put on Ole Miss to make an irrational decision. Like, if you would have asked me last week where I thought Lane was coaching next year, I would have said Oxford. Everything was pointing towards he stayed there, right?
Yeah, sure.
And after yesterday, I sit back, I'm like, They might have just screwed themselves. Like, I mean, I know they would accept him back with open arms, but if you're going to tell the man if he doesn't make a decision before the Egg Bowl, you're going to have conversations about if he coaches in the college football playoff.
But their feelings are hurt. That's the only way I can really put it is their feelings are hurt. They feel like they need to move on because they don't want to get strung along the way that they are right now.
Right.
And that makes sense, but that's just the writing on the wall if you're Ole Miss. If you happen to set an ultimatum, it's usually not going to work out.
Right, but you can also just enjoy what you have right now. Like,
you could get one.
Just go play.
You've never been closer to a national championship
than right now.
And now you were like, I got to fire him. Like, you would take. Look, LSU does this all the time.
Right.
We take one national championship for 10 years of pain.
Yes.
You've had no national championships in a lifetime of pain. You've never even been relevant in this conversation.
Right.
And here's your opportunity. You're like, nope, I'm going to shoot myself in the foot.
Right.
Cut my nose off to spite my face because my feelings are hurt. Like, just ride this thing out.
And because like, I do understand. Like, if you're Ole Miss, because I think, and even if
who's going to coach the team
with Lane, if Lane leaves, I think Ole Miss is still in a great spot. Like, as much as it's going to suck for them to lose their guy,
No, that's it. No, dude.
Yes, as a program.
No.
Yes.
No. It's Lane Kiffin.
This. I'm with Lloyd on this.
No. That's why do you think they're acting the way that they are?
Of course, they love the man. You didn't want to lose Saban, did you?
No. And
right.
look what happened.
You won two more national championships.
They haven't been recruiting Mississippi because Lane Kiffin has been doing. Like the people are going there because of him.
They've got the NIL buy-in.
Nobody gives a fuck about Ole Miss.
I get that. Like, but if you go and you hire
that's why they want Summerall because he's got attitude. Also,
that's what I'm saying. They're in a spot where if they hire the right guy,
that's what they're going to do.
If you go and get Summerall, you are in a operable position.
You're
an
fine.
operable position for Ole Miss now is the playoff, and they'll never see that success consistently. Like they will with Lane Kiffin.
No, an operable position for Ole Miss will never be the playoff. I mean, they've never made it. You know what I mean?
But right now it is. That's their standard
this
right
season.
now.
This is for Ole Miss. That's still not the standard. You know what I mean? Like, even if they make it, it's not the standard. Like 9-3 in Ole Miss every year, and you're a god.
Yeah, but beating LSU is part of the standard. Making the playoffs part of those two go in hand. If you beat Ole Miss or if you beat LSU, you go to the playoff. They're not going to be back at that with Lane Kiffin gone.
No,
and they're not going to like that. The fans won't like that.
If you hire the right guy,
he sure does know how to piss people off. People, he gets people fired
up.
Out
of people. If Ole Miss goes and gets John Summerall, right, and they still have the same buy-in from a financial standpoint with the boosters and the collective and just the atmosphere around the program that they've been raised to with Kiffin, right? It's a spot you can be successful at right now if you're the right coach. You can look at Ole Miss and think it's an attractive job.
Sure, I'm with you
there. More attractive than it was before Kiffin got there. Now, they're not going to stay at the level they're at right now when Kiffin leaves. But Kiffin is leaving Ole Miss in a much better place than when he got there, right? If you're an aspiring coach at a smaller school, you could look at Ole Miss and go, they've got the buy-in.
It's a great stepping stone.
They've got the money. Of course, it's always going to be a stepping stone. No, Ole Miss is no one's final destination.
I don't think the fans are going to like this at all because they're never going to win anything if Lane leaves. Like, they literally will never win any. Like, they can have all the buy-in you want, but like, it took Lane what? How many years has he been at Ole Miss? 5, 4, 6, 4? How long has he been at Ole Miss?
4 to 6.
And they're
6,
just
7?
now getting to the playoffs.
Right.
So,
but they're not even in it yet.
I think having the mindset that if he leaves, they'll never make it. I can't view it that way. It would be like sitting here in 2005 and saying, or 2004 and saying, if Saban leaves LSU, they'll never be back here.
No, that's not. You cannot compare the two programs.
Of course, they're not the same program.
That's why you can't do it. Yeah, like what they have in place now is better. Correct? Like they have a somewhat of a system in place that seems to work, and it's not recruiting. Right. It's NIL and transfer portal.
It's the money.
And it's the money that they have, and that's why they're making the decision that they're making right now. Is we have one other guy that think that can do it the same way that Lane's doing it.
Right.
And that's their choice. But he won't be. He doesn't bring that offense with him.
No, of course not.
He doesn't bring the ability to find talent and quarterbacks with him.
Of course
he
not.
Doesn't bring the moxie.
Yeah, he does. He has a little bit of shit to him.
Yeah. He's brought.
That's why they want him. They want to keep that same attitude. He wants like the belt to ass and. What do they have it to? Like, roll Tide, what, fuck you? Like
they had what? Roll MF and wave.
Yeah. Same thing.
Right.
Like, so they want that shit. They want that.
So they want the off-brand.
Yeah.
See, this is the problem. They're not going to like this at all.
They are.
Ole Miss is.
They're going to accept
will like it, but when they lose to LSU again every year, when they lose the Egg Bowl every other year, they're going to hate it again. They're going to be like,
they're going to get mad at Lane.
Of course.
And then if it's a situation of which Lane Kiffin is at either Florida or LSU, that becomes the Magnolia Bowl is back.
Right, and I think one of the biggest things and questions that I have, and I'll ask both of you, if Lane does take Florida or he takes LSU, what does that mean for the other one? So, like, Lane picks LSU over Florida ultimately. Because I don't think anyone will be surprised if he takes LSU or Florida over Ole Miss.
Yeah, I think that's where you are.
The narrative is those two jobs are better than Ole Miss.
Right.
But there's a debate about which job between LSU or Florida is better. I think the majority feel it's LSU, but there is a conversation about which one.
Florida fans are very much dead set on it's Florida.
Right. And so my question would be, if he chooses Florida, what does that mean for LSU from a perspective standpoint? And if he chooses LSU, what does that mean for Florida from a perspective standpoint?
Both are all in on one person.
Right.
And then if you're LSU, you pivot, right? You go to look at your list. It's either Eli Drinkwitz, Frank Wilson. Like, that's where you are in the coaching search. It's like, this is your big name. This is the big fish.
This is your one. That's the reason why. Like, they're both all in and visibly all in on one person.
Somebody's going to get left at the – he can't coach for both.
And so if he chooses LSU, then it's like, well, Florida, you got to suck it up and realize that you're not a better job, right? Like,
and LSU will have to have the same realization.
And it'll have to be the same realization on the other side, you know? Like, maybe we're not who we thought we were. But I don't know. It's going to be a very interesting week, to say the least.
And you also have to think of – got the camera to work.
There he is.
If – it made the show worse. If it is Lane to LSU and he wants to bring in some of his own people, does he bring Golding with him? And then if Tulane goes to – if Summerall goes to Ole Miss, where does that leave Blake Baker?
In my opinion, Summerall's getting a job. If it's not Ole Miss because of this,
if you're Tulane, it's
Auburn, right?
Yeah.
So Tulane is going to be looking to hire their next coach, and my mindset has been consistently they're going to call Blake Baker, especially in this current atmosphere, like the fact that the head coach that brought him in and the AD that was there when it happened are both gone at LSU, and it's not a guarantee he gets retained, you know, because usually, like I said, when a coaching change happens, I just assume the whole staff is gone. I think Blake Baker's the first call Tulane makes, you know? And so then it creates the conversation. Because I think everyone at LSU is okay with the offensive staff being
Lane Kiffin
just wiped and replaced.
Yeah.
I think Frank will stay, you know. And I think that's one of the reasons why Kiffin's so attractive is because of Frank. And Austin Thomas.
I mean, some of the pieces are already
in place.
And that's
I think my biggest reason on why I'm confident about Kiffin ending up at LSU is Austin Thomas. Like, those guys are tight. And not only that, like, Austin Thomas is also really good at what he does. And Kiffin knows that for a fact.
And if Kiffin does go to Florida, he's probably calling Austin Thomas. Because why is Austin Thomas here right now?
Right. Look, I would love for Blake Baker, because I think Cordell said Baker's better than Golding. I agree.
Yeah.
I would love for Blake Baker to be. That's been my biggest stressor this season with the BK thing, and we said it before the year. It was like, feels like you've got almost every piece in place besides the head coach. And what sucks is when you fire the head coach, then all those pieces can kind of be gone. You know what I mean? And I think I would love for Blake Baker to be retained. I know I would love for Blake Baker to be retained. I just don't know how likely that is when you're hiring a new coach. I think it's a lot to even expect Frank to be retained, but I think he kind of has a different – he wouldn't be holding a massive position if he's associate head coach and recruiting coordinator, right? That's not a DC or an OC. Usually a head coach wants their own guys. Now, I don't think the conversation's completely unrealistic that maybe Kiffin sits down with Baker and they think this is we all think it'd be a match made in heaven and go with it, right?
Yeah, I mean, LSU's doing the thing it always does.
The mental gymnastics of this whole, we can keep this guy and that.
Like, the perfect scenario would be Blake Baker stays, Lane Kiffin comes, brings a quarterback.
Right.
Frank Wilson goes back to running backs coach. Austin Thomas stays as GM. He brings
Corey Raymond stays as cornerback coach.
Right.
Well, yeah. I'd love for that to happen.
And we get a new PMAC.
But
a new governor.
How realistic is it really that you bring in a coach and he's got to keep all these pieces in place? Like, I mean, he's probably got his own guys. You know. I also think I would also love Kyle Williams to stay. I've heard nothing but rave reviews about Kyle Williams as the D-line coach. It's just not realistic for those pieces to stay. I think Frank and Austin Thomas are, if it's Kiffin, very realistic.
But it's just funny because it's like it's none of those people's fault.
No, it's not.
But that's just strictly an LSU thing where you're trying to like convince yourself of, well, no, they did a good job.
Right.
So don't fire. It's like, well, I also have people I've been coaching with my entire life, or relationships that I would like to think that they could do this job with me here. Like, I've made promises too, and the only reason that Lane Kiffin is maybe one of those few people that makes sense to keep him is because they've worked together before. Everybody else is like, it would have to be a lesser coach to be like, well, then you can't get the job if you don't listen to us.
Right.
And the person that I would think that would do that would be, I don't know if Verge would have that same sentiment. I'd imagine he would for Frank and Austin Thomas and Corey Raymond, because he understands how it works here.
Right.
But it definitely would have been Scott would have done the same thing because he hired him.
Yeah, I think those three are the only ones you can have a real conversation about.
Yeah, it would.
And I think Corey's
But
maybe
if it's Lane Kiffin,
right,
you say anything's on the table.
Of course.
I would imagine if he says I want to bring in my own people, you're like, oh, okay, because
I think the only, and I think he would keep Austin Thomas, and I think he would keep Frank Wilson.
Me too.
I think Corey would be kind of maybe in that middle ground of.
But he should.
I mean, it would be smart to keep Corey here, obviously, because you keep DJ Pickett.
And I think like Lane is one to get it.
Yes.
Where if he's talking to Austin Thomas and Frank Wilson, he's like, I would love to have Corey Raymond on staff. Like,
no, I think I think that's part of the appeal of him.
Yeah.
Is like, he knows, right? He gets it.
Right.
And if he doesn't, who he's going to ask.
And if you're LSU,
he's going to ask Nick Saban, and what's Saban going to say?
Exactly.
Hold one of those guys.
And if you're LSU, that's what you have. That's why this all makes sense. And if you're Lane Kiffin, that's why the job is kind of like, this is like search and replace. This is
right.
This is all the things that you need to win a national championship. You don't have to go and get a new anything. Like, we just really need you.
Yeah.
And you need us.
We just need you and an offensive staff. And
yeah, you can do whatever you want.
Right.
The only thing that's in jeopardy here is your sobriety.
I mean, hey, maybe
he's ready to fall off the wagon. I mean, LSU is 5 for 5 with that too.
I know.
And I'm sure that's what his wife is saying is like, we're doing a good thing here. We finally gotten
we figured this out.
Yeah, we've gotten everybody kind of back. Last time you were on the loose, it was divorce.
Look, I think ultimately, if you're LSU, you get Kiffin to check so many boxes, right?
Yeah, if it doesn't work, at least you feel like you did the right thing.
Right.
Same thing with Lane.
You don't feel like you're in. Yeah, you feel like you don't feel like you're in the position of. Because right now, where LSU's at in this era of college football, you're in the position to take a risk, right? Like in 2021, you weren't in that spot where it was like you were in a bad place with a roster. Your roster was in a bad spot. The perception of your program was that it was a mess, and you had all of these things going on in and around the program. You had kids at practice and women coming in and out of the building. Okay. Like, you kind of need something maybe a little bit calmer to come in.
Yeah,
to Baton Rouge in 21.
Working out.
Right. And so, but now LSU's in the position where, from a program standpoint, you're not in that bad of a spot.
Well, no, the only thing that is making you look bad is the ancillary things around LSU. It's Louisiana, not LSU
not
football.
The program.
And those have kind of quieted down to the point where that was funny, I guess, if you have that kind of sense of humor, but it's not. None of that was real. It's not you're going to get a performance-based contract.
Well, I also think Kiffin, in the personality he is where I'm comfortable with him dealing with that.
Yeah.
Like, guys.
Shut the fuck up.
Stop. What are you doing?
I can do that plenty.
I know what stop.
I'll tweet it.
Yeah, like, let me, and so, like, that's where I'm at. Where
he can be that part of it, even if that shit exists, the governor and all of that. Like, he's like, oh, if you want to you want to go viral on the internet, like, I'm better at this than you.
Right? Yeah. No, you don't want to go band for band, tweet for tweet with me.
Yeah.
You know who I am. You know what I do.
I've been running this circle a while.
And so, look, I think it's going to be quite the week because the noise that the volume went up yesterday, it's not really gonna slow down, especially with the way Ole Miss handled it.
Now you have a date where you feel like you have to have a decision.
That's the most interesting part to me is Ole Miss has handled this in a way where it's like,
you sped up the timeline.
Buckle up, let's figure that we're about to find out, you know?
Because before yesterday and before the ultimatum, It was, you might have to wait until the playoff, after the playoff, or it just might be looming as there's been a decision, but we don't know which one it is, and Ole Miss is going to ride this thing out with Lane Kiffin. Now they're like Egg Bowl.
Egg Bowl! Hey!
We need to know by Thanksgiving.
We need to know by Thanksgiving. We're not going in this Egg Bowl.
And
No, I get
the frustration. I do, but
at the same time, don't push the guy out of here.
Who's going to coach?
Like, don't screw this up.
But who's going to coach you in the interim?
Right. Don't screw this up. What you have right now, just enjoy the ride.
She will leave.
And if she leaves, let her. But at least you got to go to the CFP. Like, that's my whole thing. Like that. You
already bought tickets to vacation.
Like, understand who you are, Ole Miss, right? You are a stepping stone. That's okay. But some people can view LSU as a stepping stone. LSU was a stepping stone. Nick used LSU as a stepping stone to get back to the league. It was a stepping stone.
LSU is a stepping stone in the sense of every time like this right now.
Right.
Like every time a coaching search has come up, like Jimmy Sexton knows how to play LSU because he's been playing LSU like a fiddle for the last 25 years. It was Nick Saban, it was Jimbo Fisher, it was Tom Herman. And then it was Lincoln Riley.
Right.
This is LSU has been in the mix. We've done this song and dance a lot, and never have we never gotten the guy.
You got to get rid of Les now to get Jimbo.
Yeah.
Well,
Jimbo Fisher is officially your head coach. Nope. Keeping Les.
Keeping Les.
And that some of that is on LSU's administration, and some of that is on the fan base for believing and wanting to see everything. Right? Like, this is what we did. Like, LSU's delusional in that way, too.
Oh, my gosh, yes.
Like the same way that Florida is.
Right. No, I mean, I think, and so the position LSU is in right now, or the position this whole deal is in right now, when you look at this week, the timeline is the most interesting part. Because I know that it got hot yesterday, but if Ole Miss just kind of steadies the waters and doesn't say anything, right, I don't think the timeline is where it is now. But I think when Ole Miss freaked out, essentially, like that's what happened. They freaked. It accelerated everything. Put all the pressure on Kiffin, right? And so I think, and that works out best for LSU regardless of if Kiffin comes here or not. What you wanted was it plays right in LSU's hands, really. Like, even if Kiffin doesn't come here, the timeline has been accelerated. So if you don't get him, you can turn to option B quickly, right? If the timeline gets accelerated, so you're going to get a decision these next 2 weeks. Okay, well, if we find out he's not coming here, all right, turn the page. Let's focus. Who's next? Who's the next one on our list? Scratch him off. Let's go. Rather than sitting and waiting through the playoff, which is what it could have been, right? That was one of the fears of going all in on Kiffin was, you're going to have to sit and wait through the playoff run, right? Well, now you don't have to do that because of Ole Miss has created the timeline that works well for LSU. That was my first reaction when I saw Ole Miss press the timeline like that. I was like, that's great for LSU. Regardless of if Kiffin comes here or not. One, you find out if Kiffin's your guy in the next 2 weeks, and if he's not, you can turn the page and get to getting the deal done to whoever's next on your list. Quick. Like, much faster than you anticipated. Because the thought was, you got to sit to the playoff. Might not be until into January before you hear something. But that timeline has played right into LSU's hand. And in a way, into Florida's hand as well, right? The next 2 weeks, they figure out if they get Kiffin or not. If they don't, they go get Fish from Washington. And he's a Florida guy, playing in Florida. Like, you're in then Florida's happy, right? Like, this timeline has really worked out for everyone except Ole Miss, in my opinion. Like, Ole Miss putting the pressure on has really put LSU and Florida in a good spot. And I mean, it hasn't put Ole Miss in a terrible spot if they're really that all in on Summerall. But I mean, they want Kiffin. And this timeline puts pressure on Kiffin in a way that I just don't see him going back. You know?
Oh, you don't think he's coming back? You don't think he's going back to Ole Miss?
Not with the way this timeline went. Do you see, like, okay, I'll ask you, Christian. When Ole Miss put the ultimatum out there and put the pressure on, I mean, does that not, like...
Yeah, no, it
almost puts him in a direction to leave.
It shows the ego a little bit.
Right.
Like how he might have hit a wall coaching there, but they clearly expect more.
Right.
They clearly expect that they, can compete on the same level as LSU and Florida.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I don't know if you want to reveal your ego like that if you're Ole Miss because
you definitely
Lane gave you your ego.
You don't want to put him on a timeline. Right. That's your gosh. That's your guy.
Yeah.
Like
that's like if LSU were to speed up Jay Johnson. It's like hold on.
No.
Jay deserves the time he gets for this.
No.
If Jay's thinking about going to the MLB, like, all right, give him time.
Let him figure it out.
He's 1-2 here.
Give him.
Lane didn't win anything, but
I mean,
he's close.
Right. I mean, to Ole Miss's standard,
yeah.
Right? And so that's my thing of like, why would you put him under a shot clock?
Right.
Like, let him play free.
Right.
Ride the boat as long and because then you have the potential of working towards. You can continue to almost entice him to stay. Like I thought, the longer this was drawn out, the more likely he was to stay at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
But they've created this timeline and put the pressure on. And with that, it puts LSU in a good spot. Just from the standpoint of if Kiffin comes, you find out in the next 2 weeks. If he doesn't, you find out in the next 2 weeks and you can turn the page and go to option number 2. An accelerated timeline is great for LSU. Because it allows you to operate much faster than you anticipated to have to operate. You thought you might have to sit and wait through the playoff.
Gives us a little Black Friday deal.
Right, yeah. I mean, it's going to be an entertaining next 2 weeks of content, that's for sure. Nate, 1886, Ole Miss giving Lane an ultimatum is the ultimate Ole Miss move. They've always been runts. Glimmer Fredette, I still work for you. I show up and work every day. What's the ultimatum for? Everyone's allowed to look at jobs. No, Ole Miss has played this right out of their hand, thinking they're playing it into their hand. Like they're but they're putting too much pressure on, and LSU is better off because of it. That's my biggest takeaway is that with the timeline accelerated, you're not sitting here wondering if you're going to be waiting until January with no coach. Because you'll find out in the next 2 weeks if option number 1's coming or not. And if he doesn't, who's option 2? Who do we look at next? Right?